Welcome to Streamline Ed Professional Development. First of all, thank you for your time to explore the changes that you can do to improve your PLC. But before we do that, you have to take an honest look about your current PLC. Is your teacher feeling confused? Are they having a headache? Or are they feeling so stressful? And sometimes they're feeling frustrated that they just want to scream during the PLC. And of course, you have teachers who don't even care at all. They will just be on their cell phone all the time. Is this happening at your school? When PLC, it should be about this. It should be about supportive. It should be about teacher feeling excited being there. It should be about teacher feeling self-empowered. Their voice, their strategy, their ideas are being heard. And that they are working on a common mission. And of course, the common mission of every school is about preparing our students with a skill set, not only academic, but also the social skill set, to prepare them for the challenges after high school. Now that you have taken an honest look about your PLC and how it should be, let us talk about the strategy that we are going to provide to you to improve your PLC. And the mission of our training is to redefine the task of your PLC. And in the process, we are going to use specific strategy and specific technology to completely transform your PLC into a positive community that fosters teacher innovation and collaboration. And that is our promise to you. Well, the way it works is this. We focus on teachers being the expert. And you, the school leaders, are there to support those experts to reach their full potentials. And the first step of our process starting with the teachers. And basically, as school leaders, you allow teachers to be that individual expert. They are the expert of their student. They are the expert of the content that they teach to their student. And you know that this teacher will do whatever they can to develop lessons based on the standards, the state standards. They are going to have data that talk about not only about their student progress, but also talk about their own input. How much effort is that particular teacher putting into student learning? And when they measure the student effort and progress, this is being transparent to both the student and the teacher as well. And that's the key, is talking about learning through evidence. And of course, that evidence will be brought to PLC. Well, one key different things about this is that PLC now has been combined with the power of the current technology. And using the power of internet, you can create an online classes where a teacher can collaborate and share ideas in a way that's safe, but also efficient. And basically, the way it works is that teachers take the data from their lesson and they convert it into something that they can share to other teachers, but it is online, okay? And one key thing as school leader, you have to realize that it's very intimidating for teachers to share their ideas because we always feel vulnerable. And when somebody who have never experienced with the lesson that you created and they start telling you all this negative thing, what do you think the teacher feel when they heard those negative comments? So as school leaders or department chair, you need to realize that you are responsible to enforce the environment that is supporting all teachers to be able to share. As school leader, you try to facilitate this positive environment by making sure that any negative comment must be individualized to that particular teacher. And how is this different than the current PLC? Before, when teachers share the data about their class, it's now open to everybody to evaluate. And it is that particular moment during PLC that they're being judged on. So what do you think the teacher gonna do? Of course, they are going to filter out the data and share the best data about their student to make them look good. That's the common sense thing. That's a humanistic process thing. So by having an online discussion, well, first of all, you no longer being in the presence of other teacher, but you just share for the ideas of sharing. And you always know that your school leaders or your department chair will basically remove all the negative feedback. And if all the negative feedback are being removed, what do you have now? The positive feedback. But what about the constructive feedback? That's where the next step comes to play. Well, here is the secret. One of your many lessons that you share online, good or bad, you know somebody is reading them in your department. And if happen to be one or more teachers are being inspired to use that strategy, they're going to implement in their own class. And of course now, what do you think they're going to do? They are going to share feedback in a way that's positive. Okay? You see how that works? It's a cycle of building positivity in your community. So one or more teachers being influenced and implement the lesson in their own class. And what happened when that lesson is being successful in this particular teachers? You are now creating a viral effects or that ripple effects, but it's focused on positivity. And of course that teacher now influence another teacher in your department. And if this teacher posted online the positivity about that particular lesson online, what do you think is going to happen over time when you have new teacher coming in? Well, all of those positive discussion is still there. Positivity is very spontaneous as much as negativity is very contagious. And we know that positivity is extremely important to develop that self-empowerment. Here's another secret. When that particular influence teacher has successfully implemented the lesson that another teacher shared, what do you think they're going to do? They will now naturally build a bond together. They build a trusting relationship together. And that's when you have that discussion between innovators. They will now develop that self-empowerment, that self-collected efficacy to have enough courage to share their ideas during PLC time to all other teachers during PLC. Do you see the difference between this approach versus the approach without technology? And this cycle of innovation and collaboration continue forever. It doesn't stop. And in the process, you have the individual teacher accountability. You have the student test score that you can use to measure the evaluation. And as you can see, this process focuses on our teachers and what we can do to support our teacher to innovate, but also to collaborate. Because everything is recorded and transparent online, the school leader now able to identify which teachers are not involving during PLC, so that you can work individually with that particular teachers. But also on that end, you know which teacher that you should reward or recognize for their innovation. And you know what happened when you have this transparency of collaboration and responsibility among all of your staff in your school. So this is our approach of transforming your PLC. And if you find this approach could be something that your school needs, please feel free to contact us. We are educators and we know the importance of educating our students, but it is to empower our teachers so they can empower their students.